Good evening and welcome to Speaker Club Inner Circles, Friday night number 32. It's been 8 months into this journey of Inner Circle after the 125 Saturday nights that we had of the Speaker Club. It's been a fascinating journey of going deep and finding insights and making transformations possible for the members who are a part of the club and still being connected with all of y'all on these fourth Fridays of every month, where we have these open mics or these sessions which are open to all and where we engage in bring back fond memories or something which is related or in sync with the theme of that month. The theme for today, or the theme for this month, was human intelligence. While we are largely in the times where we are talking of artificial intelligence, this was a month where we talked about how human intelligence has a space of its own, and yet how much our artificial intelligence takes over. It is still the human intelligence of how we as humans connect, collaborate, and co-create is what makes it possible to create the future that we want. That was the theme for this month, where we have had three sessions apart from the session that we are having today. First one was the network to net worth, how each one of us can build the network that we have and scale up and leverage on the network through which our network becomes our net worth. The second one was about the people in our lives, the different kinds of people that we are surrounded with, and each one presents themselves in different ways, needs different strategies to be tackled with, and each one of them gives an opportunity that is of its own. And the third session was about teamwork, which talked about how we as individuals, when we work in teams, the need and the way we work in teams has a complete different dynamic and the purpose that it serves. And we as individuals can grow far, far more when we can collaborate and work as a team in the aspirations that we have, in the personal lives that we have, where we can have much more fulfilling lives and enriching lives with the possibility of teams. That was the theme for this month. And today, being an extension of that underlying idea of how humans grow, of how each one of us has an opportunity to grow and draw from the experiences from each other and learn from each other. That is what the session is all about. We have already had two sessions of the similar nature, not of the theme, but of the idea of collective wisdom in the past, in the Speak Up Club series that we had. This idea of collective wisdom comes from the simple fundamental idea that there are problems, there are questions, there are roadblocks, there are challenges each one of us face. But we often end up fighting our own battles to resolve those things. But the reality is, we are not the first one to step into the world. We are not the first one to experience situations like them. And yet, we do not leverage on the wisdom that others who have walked the same path ahead of us have to offer. Why we don't do that? Because we do not talk. Here, in this session of collective wisdom, the idea is the theme of human intelligence. The idea is each one of us can either open up and ask a challenge that you're facing, a situation that you're facing, a problem that you are not able to resolve, and seek the wisdom of individuals in the group about their experiences of if anyone has ever encountered a situation like that and has resolved, or what is the insight that they learned from a situation that you face. So the fundamental idea of the session is each one of us are open to seeking solutions and, more importantly, offering the wisdom that we have learned. Each one of us has something which has moved into our favor, something that we have learned, something that we have gained insight over our lifetime about different things in different contexts. If maybe the context or the insight that you have learned can help someone unlock their potential, that is what and when the purpose of this session will be served. With that, that was the context of collective wisdom. How many of you know which is the richest place in the earth?
Anyone?
Which is the richest place in earth? Yes, Lakshmi,
The
Ellen?
graveyard?
Our
Graveyard?
Ellen, go ahead.
Our heart.
Too philosophical to digest, Ellen. I think your wife needs to would give a better answer if that is the richest place or not. I'll get back to it at different times, whether she feels that is the richest place or not. Umama, I'll come back to you. Chetan.
Richest place.
Yes.
Maybe Switzerland. Banks are there, Swiss bank.
Okay, Swiss bank are there. Interesting. Anyone else except for Uma? Saikiran, go ahead.
It is not India, of course.
It is not India. That is there. That is clear. That's a good thing. Dinesha, go ahead.
Sir, what is the question, sir? What is the topic? Sorry.
The question is, which is the richest place in the world?
In the world. The Burial.
Interesting. Thank you, Dinesha, and thank you, Uma ma'am. It's the burial ground. Why? Because if ideas were currencies, insights were currencies, the wisdom that we learned was currencies. The challenge is a lot of our wisdom, a lot of our learnings, you'd find, are not expressed to the world out. It's not shared with the world outside. And so, when we die, it all goes into the burial ground without it being shared outside. And that's why the burial ground, or the whatever you call it, whatever place where the dead are buried, wherever you see it, it's actually the place which is the richest, because in it lies so many stories, lies so many insights, so many learnings, so much wisdom that you can never compare it with the things that could be possible in the world. Did you know one interesting thing that happened? Almost, I don't know who, but I don't remember the exact story, but almost 400 years before the actual flight, the flight was invented or the way it was created, somewhere in some artist's book 400 years ago, the complete plan to make a flight, to make something fly, was found recently, that was written and conceptualized 400 years ago. And just that idea was not exposed outside. And that's the reason we had to wait for the flight to take off for almost 400 years after it was first conceptualized in someone's mind. Imagine where we would have been if it was 400 years back that the actual flight would have been conceptualized. And so the ideas that you have, unless you let them go, let them others know, share it with others, not to boast about yourself, but something that has worked for you, and possibly it could be working only for you, possible. But unless you talk about the insights that you have had, the learnings that you have had, I think when they go back to the burial ground, it's of no use if it was not shared. And so today's session, when it comes to human intelligence, we are going to focus on the element of how humans and connections work and what makes them click, and what are the challenges that we face in our connections. So the good thing here is we have a good mix of people. We have Uma ma'am, who's over 50, Saikiran, who's in his 20s, Chetan, Lelin, Madhu, Subhash, all in the same, and equally me, I can take myself also in the same age bandwidth. We have people of different ages, people of different religions, people who are from different places. The beauty of Speak Up Club has always been the diversity that it brings in. And what happens is, what could be common sense for you may be a big challenge for someone else. And so never assume that everyone could know that. Possibly they already know it. Never assume that. So today, when we begin or have these conversations in today's session, please note, there's nothing like common sense. Speak if it works. If you have resolved or you have had a learning, speak and share. Please note, do not share any book or a theory or something that you have read somewhere. The entire idea of collective wisdom is how you have brought that into your being, how you have found a solution to it based on your experiences. So talk stories, talk insights about how you have found a solution. It could be, you could be still work in progress. I'm not saying don't share anyone else's content. I'm saying focus more on your experiences rather than something that I read this in this book and I think this is a solution. If you have not implemented it, it means that is still not the solution. Otherwise, you would have done it yourself, right? Yes, no? Wonderful. So with that, please note the focus is human intelligence and the connections and the power of human relationships are what we're talking of. And that is where we are going to talk about the challenges that we face. Anyone would like to begin with some challenge or some idea they would like to understand or know the insights from people? Anyone would like to begin with any question you have? If not, I'll begin. Anyone? It can be just a basic situation, context, challenge, or a problem, or a question that you have or you want people to talk about. Yes, Uma, ma'am, go ahead. I would request everyone to please switch on your videos if it's possible. Uma, ma'am, I understand it's 11:30 in Singapore, but thank you for switching it on. Go ahead.
Do you really believe that your network is your net worth? I had an experience about this. Recently, like when I came to Singapore last week, I had posted some of the pictures that I had taken here, and I was maybe very excited, and I had posted it on Instagram and in my Facebook story and things like that. So I felt that technology is helpful sometimes. So one of my friend, maybe in the 2010 to 2015 period when I was in Bangalore, she was my bhajan group friend, and she shared with me, and she said, "Ma'am, are you in Uma? Are you in Singapore?" I said yes, and she said, "Why don't we connect? I'm here in Singapore." So she said, "I'll come and pick you up. I'll take you to my house and things like that." So I said, "It's a customized tour. I'll definitely let you know when I'm free." And it so happened that on Tuesday evening I was free, and I messaged her saying that we'll meet at a restaurant in Little India. So it is called Komala Vilas Restaurant, which is quite famous there. And I took her, I messaged her, she said yes, and she gave a thumbs up. But I forgot to take her Singapore number. I just had her Indian number. And I went there, and she had promised to meet at 7 o'clock. I was waiting there at the entrance, and there was no sign of her. I didn't know how to contact her. My data pack was not there because I had exhausted it. It was available only in the hotel. And I was just wondering, I went up the hotel to find out whether she's there waiting for me. And then I told the reception people also, I'm expecting somebody. I waited for almost half an hour, and I thought maybe she's not coming. And I thought, let me wait for 10 more minutes. And there she came. And she said, somehow I could not contact you. The bus was late and I couldn't get a taxi and things like that. But we were so happy to meet each other. And the expression we had on our faces, meeting somebody that too in an international city, it was really a great experience. And that's when I realized that your network is your net worth. And I even tried contacting a Toastmaster, Mr. Brahmakumar by name. I messaged him saying that I'm in Singapore, and he said he's on work, but definitely he responded. We could not meet, but still, I was happy that I could at least get in touch with two people who were in Singapore. So definitely you feel good when you have such contacts. Thank you.
Thank you, Uma ma'am, for sharing that. I think here, let's look at the same equation in the other way around. We often feel that we have, based on our the width of our connections, Facebook friends, Instagram followers, or the kind of connections that we have from our childhood. I've always felt one challenge with regard to the earlier generation. My dad had only 4 good friends, and those were friends who lasted for 48 years. And recently, one of them, we lost. And today, when I look at relationships or the connections that we have, I'm not sure if we have that kind of a depth in the relationships as they had. And I'm not sure why or what is the missing element that I can inculcate in my relationships that will help me in building such deep connections. Has any one of you all found or have such deeper connections, and what makes it work? I would be excited to listen to your stories here. And please note, given that we have a good number of people, let's make it a little quick, 1 minute each, and target or hit the story and the insight that you want to have. Over to whoever wants to share their insight. If you have connection, Nandana, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul. I cannot say how we can build a depth to a particular relationship because it is two-sided, because you can contribute your side, but then you can never rest assured that the other person is going to be equally loyal to you, or he might or she might contribute the same amount. But then what helps you, or what makes you, be at peace with yourself and be happy with yourself? Because this is something that, I mean, it is not something that I've cultivated. This is something that's by default has been with me, and it has always helped me. And that one particular thing is go without any expectations. So when you are supposed to help a particular person, or when you're supposed to be friendly with a particular person, just go and do it. You don't do it because you expect something from him, or you don't do it because you need something from him. You just do it because you like doing it, or you want to do a particular thing for that particular person. And by saying this, I don't mean that I'm always in a giving mode. There are instances when I just say, no, I do not want to do it right now, or no, I cannot do it, or no, it is beyond me, and that's fine. And that is also understood by other people. So I think the main thing that we are supposed to understand is, the lesser the expectations, the more happier you'll stay in your inner world. And I think that going ahead, if not immediately, sometime in the future, will add depth to the relationships that you have around you.
That's insightful. Go in not because you want something in return, but do it because you feel like you're doing something without the return in play. Wonderful. I think I resonate with that. Anyone else would like to share your perspectives? Just reflect on your stories, your if you have or you don't have, whatever be the logic. What do you feel is why there's a difference? Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah, you should be happy. If you are happy, if you are my friends, they used to told me, whenever we are around you, we are happy. So what now? I will not think about anything. Just reason what we nowadays what we are doing. Whenever we have problem, we used to tell others. This is I have a problem or something like that. This is what I observed. But olden days, what I will do, I will be present. Always try to be present. So people also, they used to be okay. When I'm with him, I'll be happy, like that. They used to feel. Again, olden days, as you mentioned, their connections, or else they will not think about multiple things. They will think about some particular things. There will be four people they used to meet frequently, or else not frequently. Also, they will not much connections. Nowadays, our searching will be different angle. So something we are getting new things. We used to attract that things or something. Nowadays, lifestyle is like that. So that's the reason we are might be that four friends we are not getting. Even we have 4,000 friends, but we'll not connect with them also frequently. This is what I feel.
Interesting, Ellen. Ellen, I heard two things over there. One was you being happy, and second is people being happy with you. What were you referring to?
Yeah, if I am happy, like that means that people with me also, they will also feel happy. Reason that mood that children's they laughing means we will also laugh, right? If we are happy, we will not think about we will not worry about lot of things. I used to be before that state. If that state means if you have problem also, you will not come and tell me that problems. Actually, you are also that same mindset or same stage. You will also, you will come the same state. I can tell. If I am happy means you will also become happy. I think.
One more thing I heard from you was if you have a problem, you're not sharing it or you're not telling it, which is something which I found something which is extremely contrary to what I saw with my family or what I saw with my father's friends. They were actually not worried about if I tell this person that I have this problem or I'm able to tell it. Rather, I've seen the depth of their bond comes from the fact that they are okay to be vulnerable. So I was just trying to understand the point of view that you had. Because they were okay to be vulnerable. Today we are worried. Today, as an example, I have 4,000 friends, but I can't go and tell on Facebook that I'm feeling depressed or I'm feeling lack of purpose in my life. I don't tell that there. But I have 2 or 3 friends with whom I can tell. They won't look up to me. Okay, Rahul, motivational speaker, he's telling he's depressed. What is happening? No, but with those people, somewhere I'm okay to be vulnerable and be myself. So I can tell that there's a problem. I can tell rather than thinking about the judgments. So
Yeah,
just want to share this thing.
Even I have like that friends. Reason I can tell Xerox myself. Reason I used to contact him daily or else alternative day. Suppose he is also luckily my field. So I am not there means he can do my job also. So like that friends I have, whenever I'm feeling low, I used to call them and tell this is to happen, what to do. Next, actually, even though he is not helping also, if I am telling to him what will happen, I feel okay, I'm okay. Something he is not giving any solution, but I will feel okay.
Wonderful.
Reason I told him.
Got
So
it.
like
It's
the
just
friends
that
we used to have.
it's just the presence. Bikash, go ahead.
Hi, Rahul. Hi all. So I have little different situation in my case, wherein actually I see that such kind of friends exist, but not for long term. For a particular phase, they come and they become so intimate that I can be vulnerable, or even they can also share anything they want to share. But as the time passes, I have seen that um, that particular friendship gets little slowly fades away, maybe because of the distance that we are staying, or maybe due to the new connections that we have got. But yes, we might be still in touch, but that kind of intimacy is not present. That is the thing actually I wanted to point out. That is one thing. And second thing, hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay. So that is one thing. And then second thing, what works for me, in my case, I feel when I am in need, or when my friend is in need, be whatever the situation, I can, if I am approachable, or I can approach to my friend, even though there is no solution, but at least to be heard, then I feel that is going to build a very deeper relationship. That is one thing that I feel definitely works. And um, one of our esteemed member has already said that that also is very relevant for my case. Is like sometimes without expectation, if we can, like, I might be having a lot of challenges, or maybe a time crunches or something, but without bothering about my situation, if I am okay to, like, give my time. So the time actually is very important. So we all know that it is very important commodity. Still, um, if there is a need for my friend to be present, then I should be able to make that time from my pocket, from my life. So if that kind of commitment is there, then definitely it helps and builds a very good relationship.
Interesting. Thank you, Bikash, for both the pointers. I think both have a few snippets of when I'm looking back at my life now, I'm finding a few snippets. Anyone else would like to share anything before I just add to this point?
I think I'd like to add a
Nandana,
point.
go ahead. Go ahead, and
there.
after that, Madhu.
Yeah. Okay. So Rahul, what I actually feel is, I mean, everyone does not belong to one particular evolution type, you know. So there are different levels of evolution that a person belongs to. So once you understand, then you understand where you belong with them, because some can just be friends who you meet them at the level of entertainment, while some are there for you at the level of soul level, and some at the level of responsibility level. So once you understand this basic difference, then I think your relationship goes smooth with them, because then you do not expect them to cater to all your wants and all your desires, because it cannot be fulfilled by every single person. And no person is ever perfect, so every person is a work in progress. So maybe they have their own limitations, and once you understand that and let it go, and when I say let it go, you let the people go, and you'd never be judgmental about a person saying yes to your demands or no to your demands, and then see them for what they are and accept them for what they are. I think you just understand that life is the most beautiful thing which happens, you know, and then you spread that happiness to everyone that you meet.
Interesting. Thank you. I like that perspective about Each one serves a different purpose. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Madhu, go ahead.
So everyone in their college or school days, we feel like, our friendship, lost ever. But whenever we change places or for the job sake, we move to other places, we miss our close friends and we feel, we cannot, get this kind of friendship. That is 100% true, because even though now we met the same people, the bonding will come like, instantly. We don't need time to have that interaction with, especially with our college friends or school friends. No, but the same thing. But moving on the life, every stage we notice that at least 1 or 2% we will connect, or some people will connect, and almost the same kind of bonding will have. Maybe in the college days, maybe we may have 5 or 6 people, but in the career or in every stage in the life, I feel like at least 1 or 2 people, that bonding, especially we can share with every small thing also. So that bond up definitely, whenever we're in happy or low, to share something should be there in every stage wherever we are. So that I think that that we are lucky, and maybe they are lucky, I don't know. So we are glad. Yeah, that relationship at least we are having in every stage. Not only me, everyone. Maybe they are noticing or not. Every place, every job, or every new place, at least 1 or 2 persons we connect more than any other one. So that bonding should be there, at least, to spend some quality time with them. I feel, yeah, I'm lucky. At least I have some.
Wonderful,
you.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Madhu. And Subhash, go ahead.
Yeah. So in reflecting Madhu's thought, so just when I look back my life, similar as Madhu said, I have a couple of friends in every part of life, like in college, in school, and in office. In every office, I would say, not every office, at least 1 or 2 office where I have close connections. So there, I can see one thing. The first guy in college, he is the guy who helps others. Even though he doesn't have money, he will lend money from others, and then whoever needed, he just give them what is required for them. So I always used to ask him, why you are doing like this? You don't have money, why are you getting it from others? So he never listens. So he's that kind of guy. And again, in other first company, there one guy whose name called Ramesh. So how he treats others is like, even when he enters the office, he treat the security also the same way he treats the personal, means the other colleagues in the office. So he used to ask whether they had food and how are you, all those stuff. And similarly, in the current office also, there is a guy who is so kind to others, and so everyone calls him as Bedana or something like that. So one thing similarity is between these guys, like they are so kind. When they are so kind, they are more attached to me. I don't know whether I am kind, but I'm having close connections with them, and we have good relationship. Even with in the 3 4 months I had just passed, but still I feel like I'm having close connection with that guy, and whoever had in the past also. So that one common thing I would see, and they are all just traveling with me. Even the first guy I said in the company, he just during this Chandrayaan 3 launch day, same day he has launched a company as an entrepreneur. So that was a dream we actually dreamed of, and now he said, "Hey Subhash, our dream has become true now." So that's what he said. And I said and responded back, yeah, something auspicious happened today, like Chandrayaan 3 launch. So it's a good sign. Go ahead. So appreciate it. So that's that kind of bonding we used to have, still we have, and I'm happy to have these people in my life. Thanks.
Interesting, interesting. Thank you, Subhash. Very interesting insights from all of you all. Just like to add to the last 2-3 points which we discussed from Vikas, Madhu, and Subhash. One very interesting insight that I found, that do not take it that it is going to be forever. The relationship might be there, but you might not be in touch. And different people serve different purpose. The point that Nandana mentioned, people are there for seasons. They do and serve their purpose, of whether it's a lesson to us, whether it's a memory to us, or nostalgia for us, or whatever it is. They serve different reasons and they serve different purpose, and they leave. They leave sometimes, and sometimes, like someone mentioned, it's disconnected for a longer period of time. And from the point that Subhash mentioned, it's not about the longevity of connection, of how long you have been with someone. But the thing that was bothering me is that my father has a friend who's 48 years, and I cannot say anyone like that. So today's times, I feel the focus is more on the depth of the relationship, and that is more about the moments of presence and the depth of connection that you've had rather than the longevity of connection. Thank you for sharing those insights. And the last thing that I loved about Subhash was, it's not about you are kind. It's a value that you resonate with. You look up to kindness in that way, and that's where you find people or see people with a similar value system and you connect with them. So you are also kind, or you value kindness, or the way you treat people and the way you connect with people at a deeper level, and that's where your connections are formed. Somewhere I think the depth of our connections are the ones that we're looking for in the long run, are the ones which can be built basis of the values that we hold. Someone with similar values or moving in the same direction, I think that's where we connect and build deeper bonds with people. Wonderful. With this, let's move to the next point about human intelligence. The idea was, who are we surrounded with? I think we had this discussion in one of the previous sessions of the inner circle. Who are we surrounded, or whom do we want to be surrounded with? I always had this challenge. Should we be surrounded with people whom we like, or people who like us, or people who are constantly challenging us? There's a friction, there's a kind of a situation where it's uncomfortable. Whom should we be surrounded with when it comes to human intelligence? Or anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to ask. I'm okay with anything. Go ahead, Madhu.
Actually, whatever you mentioned in simple terms, many times we feel like whenever it comes for the satisfaction in our life, definitely we have to see with the people, compared to us, what benefits we are getting right now in the life, but with the same qualities or same qualifications, but other people are not getting that, whatever the benefits we are getting. Then we feel like, at least by God's grace or with our efforts, we are in this position, we'll be happy, or, we should be satisfied. But in the same way, with whom we surrounded with. Suppose you want to achieve something, just you surrounded with the people who already achieved it, or in the same direction who are going it. Then definitely we go in that way, so that whenever you want to achieve something, challenge yourself with the people surrounded by you who also already maybe at least one level next to you, because you wanted to achieve that, not to the down level. But I'm not saying like kind or satisfaction. Yeah, that should be there with your, whatever you are having right now in the life. It should be there always, whatever you can.
Madhu, a quick question. If you want to surround yourself with someone who's ahead of you, why would they want to surround themselves with you?
Yeah, see, that's the point. Yes, that's 100% is a valid question. See, that's our point of view. And one more thing, people, I'm just planning, or I wanted to be surrounded with that kind of people. But from where it will come? From my point of view only, right? You feel okay, Rahul is a successful person, successful business person, he's very good in communication. If I have a good contact with Rahul, I will also be success. That is my perspective in about you, suppose, for example. And Ellen is there, he's very humorous, he enjoys life, whatever it comes. That is my perspective about, suppose, for example, in Ellen. So obviously what happens, my thinking about Ellen will come in that way first, maybe. And in terms of you, maybe it will come like that. So I feel like here, that's my point of view or my thinking. Whether that is correct or not, different, the way we surrounded the people.
Madhu, just an again, for everyone else to continue on the discussion, just an extension of this. When you're surrounded with people who are not in the same wavelength, as an example, the things that you mentioned, not about just success, but about what they expect in their life, what they're doing and how they're doing, and all the things which are different, basically, there's going to be a lot of friction. There's going to be a lot of friction. How do you view that? Or is it good to have a peaceful environment over an environment which has a lot of friction? Vikas, go ahead.
So coming to the previous question, let me first put my view. So I always I like this idea, which actually came from some author in a book, and I liked it, and I try to follow that. That there should be always a good mix, like 33%, 33%, 33% kind of. 33% should be above you, 33% in line with you, 33% kind of who are looking up to you to be like you, so that you can mentor them, get mentored, and who are in line with you, you can actually go along with them. So that should be a good mix, so that you won't, when you are feeling demotivated, you like you have the right mix actually. Or you need some kind of encouragement, or you want to help people, then also there are audience or there are friends. Then coming to the second thing which you asked, something you asked me right just now. What is it? Can you just give a hint?
Okay, do you choose peaceful environment or an environment with
Yeah.
friction?
Right. So this is a very good question. Actually, if you ask me what it should be, then definitely it should be again a good mix. Because with the people whom you have some kind of friction from them, that critical view will help us to learn and grow more. If it is always goody goody, right, then we might feel so comfortable, and we might be in comfort zone only. So the other aspect is also required, and it should not be also true that we are only surrounded with those critics. So we should have also people like us, it's like who are very easily gelling, and then like us only, with having views, values like us, so that we can share easily. Or a person who has both the views, both the sides of coin, even that is also appreciated.
Interesting. Thank you, Bikash, for sharing that. I like that mix of finding or being with people whom you're comfortable with, and the critics, and having friction and having peace. You mixed up everything, and I think the underlying idea is understanding the intent behind whoso is doing whatever, and if you put them in the right judgment, they'll help us. Dinisha, go ahead.
Sir,
Welcome,
my
Subhadra
point
ma'am.
of
Dinisha, go ahead.
okay, my point of view, as a person, anybody if you take, we will be in the middle. There will be above level, there will be below level. But ultimate aim should be having a peace while interacting with both the category. For example, just now, if you take my family, I can associate with them. They are watching it serials. I don't want to be there in that place. So I came out here outside, sitting and associated with the webinar. And one scenario recently happened while I was coming back from Hyderabad. The one more boarded bus next to my seat. I wanted to build a conversation, good conversation. Initially, I aggressively went and said, "Hi, can we have a 5 minutes of discussion?" Initially, he said, smiled, and he started. But after a few seconds itself, he said, "I want to watch a Facebook." I said, "Okay, sir. That if it is giving you like happy, please go ahead." Then I started sleeping. Is what ultimately the peace is important wherever we should not lose our peace. There are people will be having some different perspective, and they have some ego. If they want to take their friendship or association, it may hurt us. So don't want to be there at that position. For example, there are people who are below me. Whatever the support I can I can give. That I'll get a satisfaction. One of my colleague, I referred a job, he got a job, he'll be very happy. At the same time, there are people who can able to support me. I approach them for a job, they help me. Now I joined a job, got a good job. Like that, ultimately, I feel like peace is important.
Thank you, Dinesh. I liked. I'm able to make a visual of what you're saying. Within yourself, you would ultimately want to maintain the peace, but it does not have to be that there will be always a comfort zone or that constant peaceful setup with everyone outside. Whatever be outside, there could be peace, there could be friction, there could be challenges, but within, we want to maintain the peace. I like that visual, or the visual that I made from your point. Thank you, Dinesha. Saikiran, go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, I'm telling this from my recent reading in a book. So I it is said that it is important to have a good feedback system of critics every time. And in critics, we need to recognize difference between positive critics and negative critics. Positive critics are one who say that you are bad and say how you can improve or what you should do. Example, like in Toastmaster, we have evaluators. So negative critics are the one we need to avoid. They are they don't know the reason, but they will just say that you are bad or you can't do. Or so we should be neutral or indifferent to them, so that they just think it is not being affected. But it is for any successful person like Ratan Tata or Ambani. They always have this group of people who have a feedback system or critics, Modi or anyone. Without their system, I don't think there has been any successful person till yet. So uh, yeah, it is good to have positive critics.
Interesting. If only I had a choice that I would know that these are positive critics. But the challenge is, many a times we face these, or we see a lot of these people around where we are not able to judge whether it is criticism or cynicism. Cynicism is the point that you're mentioning about the bad critics or the ones who are
Negative.
just negative critics that you mentioned. The idea is the differentiator here is when someone is pulling us down or challenging us or putting our ideas to a question, are they showing another way to you? And is that way constructive or is it just a perspective, another way? You can do
Yeah.
this way, you can do this way also. You could have an evaluator tell that you did this or your voice modulation is this way bad. You could say, in my opinion or for my understanding, what I'm doing is okay. And you have a valid perspective.
For
So
example, my college days, there were few people who called me a duffer and something like in college. And
labels.
even in ragging, they were why are you going that way, why are you always thinking like that? So I used to avoid them because they're perceived as negative. But now I realize that yes, those were indeed positive critics. When we think we should be in society, if we keep thinking or behaving weird, and then I mean they were just guiding or giving idea or how to be a better person in behavior.
Wonderful.
So,
Thank you, Sai Kiran. I think that was a very good pointer with regard to how you are deciding who is it that you're surrounding with and what purpose are they serving. I think
yeah,
I got that answer from you, that if you look at the intent or the purpose that you are surrounded with the people, even if it is friction, even if it is criticism, even if it's comfort, each one of them serve a different purpose. And if you keep that purpose in mind and you are willing to push yourself even into those territories which are going to be challenging, if you keep the purpose in mind, you will move forward in your life.
yeah,
Otherwise, the other contrary side, where I think someone mentioned about the comfort zone, I think it was Bikash, the comfort zone. If you are constantly surrounded with people whom you are comfortable with, we end up becoming echo chambers, or what is it called? Yes people. We see a lot of teams fail because everyone in the team says yes to the boss.
yeah,
They're not willing to challenge them, they're not willing to question them, or they're not willing to direct them that, okay, I think I have a different perspective, just because they don't want to be different, just because they don't want to be in the bad books that, okay, you challenged my idea. But eventually those companies fail,
yeah,
but eventually
exactly.
those teams fail because they are wanting, or they are appreciating this culture of just surrounding yourself with people who are happy with you.
Yeah, it is not the tone which decides a positive or negative critic. It is the content of criticism. I mean, whether there is any message we could, whether
Correct.
there's any takeaway, that is what decides positive or negative criticism.
Interesting. Now, I would just, okay, anyone has any question regarding the theme? Otherwise, I'll post one more idea and we can discuss over that, or we can move ahead accordingly. Anyone has any idea or anything that you would like to discuss about human intelligence? Anything that you feel that, okay, I face this challenge and I feel I would like to listen from the people here. Anyone?
Hello.
Chetan, go ahead. Chetan, go ahead.
Yeah. Can seniors please guide relating upbringing of children? If we feel that they are intelligent enough, but they don't know their capability and they are not responding well.
I don't know if we
They
have
are children, but
I don't know if we are here. We have that kind of senior people, except for Uma ma'am and Shubhadra ma'am, I believe, who would have over teens as their children, who could be able to guide us on those lines. Uma and Shubhadra ma'am, would you like to share anything? Anyone? Okay, Chetan. I'm sorry. I think Nandana, go
I
ahead.
think,
Nandana, go ahead.
yeah, Rahul, I think most of the time it's just the same for every one of us, whether someone is in their teens or whether it's just a kid or whether it's adult that we're talking to, because no one likes to be told directly that they are wrong. So, it's the same psychology that we use with kids too. When we are dealing with them, you always have to start with their positive. Okay, you always have to start with your observations on the areas that they are good. Okay, and then in between you sandwich. Okay, it's a sandwich, mostly it's a sandwich kind of thing, wherein you have to top it up, and then the bottom is again a positive thing, and then in between you layer it with your observation or a feedback where you think that a person is a capable person, and these are the areas wherein he can bloom or wherein he can grow and become a beautiful individual. Okay, so if you put it in the right perspective, use the right words, because words matter, they are very powerful, and you have to be very careful that you're not pricking their ego, or you're not yeah, you're not actually giving them something that they are ashamed about. So once you deal with the words carefully, then I think every person comes around and every person understands, because every person born on this earth only wants to grow. And this is the reason that we actually have come to earth to learn our lessons and to become a better individual. So when told in a nice tone and when told with the right words, I think every person would like to grow. So it's how you deal with a person.
Interesting.
And yes, there are certain instances when a person wouldn't understand, and that is when you have to let them experience their life. Let failures be their own, let them own them, let them experience them, and then let them grow out of it. Because not always we can control the situations. Sometimes they have to learn it at their own pace.
Wonderful. I think well summed up and good insights there, Nandana. I hope, Chetan, it helps you. Bikash, go ahead. And we had Shubhadra ma'am and Uma ma'am clapping. So I would rather than clapping, just please share your suggestions. I think that will be better. The insights were good. Good clap for that. I would want to listen from you all also. Shubhadra ma'am.
I totally agree with Nandana because I am a pessimist. So I don't know how to deal with my own children. I can deal with others' children, but not my own children, because my expectations from my own children is totally different from others. And that is something which is wrong and which I'm learning at this age with my children all grown up. Now I can advise others, but what has happened has happened. I wish I knew Nandana before so that I could have learned from her. Over
Oh
to
my
you.
God, we are all learning. I mean,
We
I've
also
been
wish,
on that stage. Yeah.
each one of
Thank
us
you.
wished. I have a 9-year-old and I'm wishing I could known her or got these insights 6 years ago. Thank you. Bikash, go ahead. After that, Subhash.
So for me, I feel only two main attributes helps a lot in parenting. That is acceptance and then lead by example. More than what we say, what we do, they imitate. So what we want to teach them, first we need to see that we are good at that particular attribute or not. If we inculcate that particular thing, then automatically they will inherit. Well, if the child is already into their teenage, then they will look up to their peers more than the parents. That's a different scenario. But before the teenage, this is more applicable, wherein they learn a lot from their parents. And so, more than what we say, we need to do it first in front of them.
Interesting. Very
relating.
deep insight. Thank you.
I just want to comment.
Sure,
It's
go ahead,
not
ma'am.
always possible to be a role model for your own son, because nowadays children are so intelligent. They are always influenced by their peers. For example, I'll talk to you about 30 years ago when we were in England. My son was influenced by his peers. But although he was studying in a school where all the others were whites, and he and another boy, they were the only children outside, like from India and from Sri Lanka. So what happened? They used to tease him a lot, but he never used to tell me. And so that frustration, he used to take it out on me. So whenever he used to get angry, he used to say, because he was influenced by the Western culture, he used to say, if you go on doing like this, I'm going to divorce you. Can you imagine that 30 years ago? Oh my God. And then he would say, if you say anything, if you scold me or do anything, I'm going to report you to the police. My God, that's how it is. So it is not always being a role model is great for the children. I agree to you to a certain extent, but they are always influenced by their peers.
Thank you, Shubhadra, and because I think both the perspectives are valid and in their own scope of area. Uh, Somewhere I felt as a parent until now the challenge that I faced. Uh, and again, it's not a solution that I've found, but it's a work in progress. And the experience that I've had is everything is literally a balancing act. You want me to become his friend? He considers me his friend, but then I cannot discipline him. You want me to discipline and be a parent? I cannot get to his level to connect with him and understand his stories better. You want him to grow up and become wiser. On the other side, you don't want him to lose his childhood. And sometimes I think, okay, he's just 9. And I'm expecting him to behave like an 18-year-old. So it's all, I feel, the entire idea of parenting and the way we look at things. One challenge which I've obviously understand is the expectation that we have. But more importantly, it is the subtle choices of this balance that we need to have. That is what works. And this balance in itself varied. During Shubhadra ma'am's time, it was different. During my time, it is different. And possibly for the upcoming generation, it's going to be completely different because of the needs and what you see. But one thing that I'm happy that Chetan asked this question was, we need to keep learning. We need to keep talking. Talk. And again, the same template doesn't work for everyone. Talk and possibly see and find insights through which you can see possibly or change a trick, the way you are doing things to understand and play things so that something or the other will work somewhere. Because I still see families where disciplined, well-trained or well-educated kids come out. But when I talk to them and get to know them deeper side, they are hollow because of lack of connection with their parents. And then I see very pampered or what do we say, friendly kind of parents, and I see them again in a different light where they do not have discipline at all. So it's all a balancing game, and how you're going to navigate that is a journey. I think it's individualistic nature, but yes, you can learn from the insights that you're seeing and observing around. And not just with this, I think for us, everything today, when I look at it, is a balancing act. How much time I'm giving to something. Today, I'm invested so much in living life at the cost of my family, possibly. So there are times when I start to wonder, why am I doing all this for? What am I doing all this for? And then when I spend a lot of time there, I start to wonder, what am I making of my life? What is my identity? What am I proven in my life? So it's ultimately a balancing act, and that balance is what you have to build within yourself. Be conscious and purposeful. Have a clarity at what point in time you are doing what, and do it with a purpose. I think that is what makes the entire difference. Eventually, you are still going to screw up. Eventually, you're still going to screw up in many things. But at least it can be purposeful rather than just it being in the flow of things that you're doing. That's the thought that I wanted to share. Anyone else would like to share anything over here? Thank you, Vikas, Shubhadra, and Nandana for sharing these insights. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Yeah.
Subhash, go ahead.
Yeah. So one example I like to share regarding this parent, since we have touched this parenthood. So actually, my daughter, again, she is 10-year-old. My wife used to push her always hard to read and go score marks, because she has moved from 3 or 4 months ago, from Chennai to Hyderabad. She has to read Telugu. She has to read different language, different culture. She has to adopt. So a lot of things are happening. But I see that it has been pushing, and she's into she's into pressure, and she's not able to. She's performing, but under pressure. So what I felt is like, she has normally daughter has good connection with the father. So I quoted an example in the childhood which I had with her. So during our nursery time, so they in the school they made this cricket for parents. I played, and she told me, like, you have to win. So with that in mind, I went, and then somehow got a man of the match award. So I got the cup, and I shared this cup with her. And she said, no, I will not get this cup. This is not for me. This cup has won by you. This is for yours. One day I will win a cup. So that is with me. So she said, I was wondering, with 3-4 years old, she's saying this. She's so serious. And then later, in 1 year later, she won in a running race and got the first prize. And while going and just while going to stand on the top of that, 1, 2, 3 steps would be there. So while going there, just she turned back and gave a look. See, this is me. This is mine. So that connection we had, and then I reminded that to her now. This was you during your childhood itself. So you do yourself. You will not depend on others actually. So you can do it by yourself. They hear that potential. So then she realized, and she started doing herself. So that kind of examples or real-time examples, and with make them understand that how they are able to achieve their goals. So that will definitely help them to understand, make them understand better, rather than pushing hard. That's what I felt.
Thank you, Subhash, for that insight and wonderful story. I think that story talks about how possibly Chetan can go ahead with maybe trying something which could possibly find an answer to the challenge that he's facing. Ellen, go ahead. The last perspective for the day before we get to the close. Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I can take myself only. I don't have it. So my parents, what they did, controlled freedom, I can tell. Reason, whenever they want control, they used to control. This is you have to do, or something like that. Some stage, for example, up to 8th standard, then they given full freedom to me. Just they push into the water, you have to swim. No other way. If you will come back, you will swim. So like that options they are given to me. Reason, I'm pure science students. I told actually I'm not pure science. I'm not liking. I'm going to engineering. They said okay, your wish. A lot of parents nowadays, they will not believe, or else they will use to force, right? You have to do this one or something. Nowadays also happening that one. So they given freedom to me. So I'm remembering all, collecting all stories what they told me. You have to do your own, you can do like that. They given a lot of freedom to me after a certain time, not childhood or something like that. Once they thought okay, he can do now onwards, so you can choose everything, even my life partner also. So each and everything they are given freedom to me. So I thought actually they're given freedom. I need to think double. Okay, they said you only choose everything, so you have to feel like that. So I will think double or triple. I will think okay, I have to do this one. Studies also, they will not ask me you studied or something like that. So up to 10, 12, 2 or full night, they will feel okay, he's not studying like that. Just I am listening something also, I will work myself. So we have to give freedom, some controlled freedom, I can tell. They're given to me.
Thank you, Ellen. Chetan, basically the idea is do something or do in a way where they can't come back to you and say it is your fault. Give them freedom, let them choose, let them do whatever, and they won't come back to you saying that you did this mistake. And on a bit of a sarcastic note, Ellen, you have children?
No.
Welcome. We'll talk after you have children. Just kidding. But yeah, interesting insights. Thank you for sharing that, Ellen. The pointer is valid. I hope, Chetan, you found a few insights or some ideas through which you can work around, and we have all built on the wisdom that we all have as parents, as children, as different things. With that, It's 10:05. We come to the end of this session. Hold back for the next 7 to 8 minutes. We have a few ideas being shared by the existing members of the club and what their experience has been. Post that, we'll close the session formally. Let me close this session first formally, and then we'll go on to those experiences being shared by the members. I hope by the end of this 1 hour that you have been here, you have had a few insights where you're drawn from the lives of the people who are here. And the ideas that you shared are definitely some things which I think each one of us would take back and become wiser. And that is the idea of collective wisdom. We often resist from seeking the wisdom that others have, and even more, sharing the wisdom that we have gained. Once you build a culture where you are discussing the insights, the aha moments, the changes in your life, or the things that have transformed your life, that is where you get an opportunity to make this world a better place with building the collective wisdom that all of us together have. We may not have the answer for something, but definitely you would have a lot of answers which have worked for different people and possibly could work for us too. And also give the same option of choice or the choice of this kind of an option to others who can benefit from the same. With that, we come to an end of this session and this theme of human intelligence for this month of August. And we come to the end of this session of collective wisdom. I hope each one of you all had a few interesting insights to take away from this session. I would request each one of you all to share your feedback in the Speak Up Club group. And before we close, I would invite the members of the club to share their experience of being a part of the club for the last 1 month. They have been a part of multiple months until now, but for now, I would request each one of them to share their experience of being a part and learning what their insights are from this month of the theme of this month, human intelligence. Who would like to go first, Ellen or Subhash?
Yeah.
Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah, I most of the time I used to spend in office. All of us, but I have spent much time. So I face some issues. For example, communicating means I need to communicate my VP or director or three persons. Sometimes what I am telling, they may manipulate based on that reason. All they need to show how we can say they are doing good, right? All they need to show. I'm selling something means just they will add something. They told I only did. I told him he did like that. So a lot of things it will happen, right? So after our group, actually this same situation I told, then what I did just instead of one-to-one talk, just I used to start writing mail to three person at a time. So what will happen? So if I'm talking, I might be, they can manipulate. So I'm sending mail. So what will happen? At a time, mail will reach same time, right? So they know he only did. So I will take some time also instead of talking. So while writing mail, again, I'm verifying that mail. So like that, I found some situation. So now I feel okay. I'm not feeling tense. Actually, what they are doing, or else I need to think what they are thinking about me or what they manipulated. Like that, I face some issues, my situation. So once I put that mail, nowadays I'm feel free. Okay, I my side I communicated whatever they're thinking. Also, no issues for me. Like that, that useful to me. Yeah, thank you.
Interesting. Thank you, Ellen. It helped you basically in managing the expectations or this entire corporate challenges that people face. Interesting. Thank you, Subhash.
Yeah, so I'd like to share the knowledge I gathered through this, 4 weeks for this, the theme human intelligence. So one thing I would like to, first thing I learned is like just collecting visiting cards is not our network. That's what I learned it. So how to leverage our network. So be in touch with the close connections what we have, and so that they will be within your connection, within your range. So what you shared your personal experience, like how do you approach your friends or share your moments with your friends. So those things were a lot of got insights to take it in my life, and I try to call them in the weekends and try to connect with them whenever there is a possibility. The problem is whenever I call them, the time goes off, the time flies. It will be if very easily 1 hour has gone. So, so in that way, even my family, when they ask, so they will say, if you are going to talk with friend, no, you should not. So maybe it will take time, and they are so resistant, so fearful when I start talking with the friends. So that I need to control somehow, and then so that I can able to get the leverage of talking with my friends. So that one time, like again, balancing with the family time and friends time, that's more important. And yeah, so other things like mainly this exercise, what we had as a teamwork, that was a great insight, and within the inner circle member. So that was great learning, and get to know about the inner circle members itself. So what their strength, weakness, all those stuff. And then we had a good, I would say, conversation and exercise which we did. And with that, I can able to correlate or understand more on the coach commentators, accelerators, facilitators, challenges, whatever we come across during this human intelligence theme. So in that way, I was so fortunate. So I'm thinking, or I would just need to go through the session again and get the insights more and try to implement it in my personal life. I get to start, so I will definitely start it and make use of it for sure. Thanks, Raul.
Thank you, Subhash. Uma ma'am, if you are there and if you would like to share anything.
Yeah, many times we just listen and we forget. But these inner circle sessions have made us realize that we have to be mindful of whatever we are learning. And I have started implementing whatever I have learned in these sessions. It is not just listening and forgetting about it. For example, last week we did a presentation of what we learned by coordinating and doing some role play situations. So we had to team up, and we had to assign the roles to each other, and we found out how we could enact, and it all finally when we presented, we could see the team as a goal, what purpose we wanted to do. And if we are going to concentrate on the purpose, not only on enacting, finally the the presentation comes up well. And we learned so many things from that. And every session is a learning process, and we are growing day by day, and we are thankful to Inner Circle for that. Thank you, Rahul. We learned so many things, like and we also started finding out whether we are an accelerator, or are we couch commentators, or are we mentors, or are we challengers. So in life, we are many to many people. We came to know about all that also through the role plays that we played. And we realized that we have to put it into action, whatever we are learning. Only then there is some meaning to what we are doing. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Uma ma'am. Yep, that was a few members sharing their perspectives about the learnings or the insights they've gained from the sessions. With that, we come towards the end for today's session. Please note, we have launched in the Speak Up Club group, I've shared the theme for the next month of the Inner Circle, which is the pursuit of excellence, wherein we are going to have 3 sessions again, and the open mic like we have had this time. Please note for everyone, the open mic sessions which happen on 4th Friday of every month are free and open to all. If you're interested to know more about the membership of Inner Circle, please get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to assist you in understanding what we do and how we do things. This is my time from the Inner Circle for this session. Thank God it's Friday. That's the way it has been for the past 32 Friday nights. And the life has changed, and the way we look at things and the way we are operating as a team and the members of the Inner Circle community. It's been a wonderful experience being connected with all the members of the past as well through these open sessions and working at a deeper level with the members of the club community. Thank you. And with that, we sign off for today's session. See you all. For the members, see you on 1st of October. And for anyone who wishes to just continue with these insightful sessions and just stay connected with us, the 4th Friday of every month. We'll see you then. Thank you and have a good night, everyone.